Hi there, happy Saturday to everyone in the Rebounding for Beginners and Seniors Facebook group. I'm Nikki, I'm the admin of the group and owner of 𝐿𝐻𝐼𝐬. I posted a poll a few days ago asking if people felt they understood and were confident about proper rebounding form, or if they needed a little more information or they weren't sure what good form on the rebounder looked like. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that this morning. One of the things I have faced as an instructor is new rebounders coming and saying, my low back really aches and I don't know why. My ankles are really hurting and I don't know why. And a lot of times the aches and pains boil down to misalignment while rebounding. Many people think it's like jumping on a backyard trampoline and they want to jump high and get lots of air, and it's actually the opposite of that. Rebounding is much different than jumping on a big backyard trampoline. Let's go ahead and go over a few do's and don'ts. So I'm going to step up on my rebounder. Now, I am wearing shoes, and I know many of you feel passionately about rebounding barefoot, and that is awesome. Rebounding barefoot is great for balance, for proprioception, for strengthening the muscles of your feet, and I love that. And when I'm rebounding gently, I do go barefoot. But if I'm doing a more moderate to intense rebounding session, then I need to wear shoes, mostly because of an old knee injury. It just feels better for me. So I am wearing shoes. Let me step up here. So the first thing that you want to know is your feet should be about hip width distance apart. You are never ever locking your knee joints on the rebounder. You're always gonna have what I call a micro bend. So just a soft, slight bend in the knees here at all times. Think about having a hinge in the creases where your legs meet your body. You want to be slightly hinged forward, just a little bit, and you have your navel drawing back towards your spine pretty firmly so that your abdominal muscles are engaged. We have our weight. Now, this is important. A lot of new rebounders tend to bounce up on the balls or toes, and you want to have more of an equal weight distribution to even a little bit of weight in your heels when you bounce down. You're bouncing down into the trampoline, not trying to get airborne and get real high. A lot of people who watch my videos, because I do teach to a rhythm and a pace, and they'll say, I can't keep up with you. And a lot of times it's either that they're bouncing too high or the tension setting on their trampoline might be different from mine. So again, with that equal weight distribution, we're pushing down into the trampoline, not getting airborne. We've got the hinge in the waist, the core engaged, the chest lifted, seat back. You can start your health bounce by just lifting your heels. Great way to begin. Once you advance from lifting the heels to lifting the entire foot, make sure that you've evenly distributed your weight then, or even a slight or a touch bit more in the heels. So it starts to look like this. And you can see that I've got this slight hinge forward in my waist. This is called an athletic ready position. Think about any sport that you have played or your kids have played, and you've heard the coach say, ready position, get ready, and you kind of get a little bit lower, right? You have a little bend in your knees, you engage those abdominal muscles. Athletic ready position. So those are just a few tips to rebounding with good form. It's probably even more important when you move up to moderate to high intensity levels, just so that you don't, cause any injury, or again, with the aching low back, that's one I hear a lot. The other thing I would say is that most beginners lack the core strength needed to rebound for an extended period of time. So I don't necessarily recommend that a new rebounder get on their trampoline and go for 20, 30 minutes. That's gonna be a lot, and that's gonna put a lot of strain on your low back. Now, if you're already an athlete, you're already very active, maybe you're a runner or you do aerobics, you might be okay with going a little longer, but most beginners need to build the core strength needed to rebound for an extended period of time. Rebounding is much harder than it looks, and it takes a lot of core strength. So finally, I do look kind of, a few feet ahead of my trampoline is typically where my gaze or focus is. You can look straight ahead. I would just avoid staring down at your feet the whole time. Occasionally, I look down to make sure that my foot placement is towards the center of my trampoline, but otherwise, find a focal point out ahead of you or on the wall in front of you. Start by lifting your heels. You can even get a mirror. Like I'm looking, I can see myself in the camera, so I can check the alignment of my knees over my ankles and over my middle toes. Many people tend to shift that weight inward and they start to rebound with the inside edges of their feet having more weight. Knees knock inward, misalignment's gonna happen all the way up the chain of your body. So keep those knees tracking over the ankles and middle toes. All right. Happy rebounding. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next time.